steppers, huh? But you can't step with us. Niggas swear they certified steppers, but don't step enough. So you be with them steppers, huh? But you can't step with us. Niggas swear they certified steppers, but don't step enough. So you be with them steppers.
Welcome to the Certified Stepper Podcast. I'm your host, Smooth. This is my co-host, KP.
What's good? What's good?
AKA Stone Cold Steve Austin. Look at that man knee brace.
You got that, bro. Hey, I ain't even got to get no details on that because I done elaborated on my IG story.
I know y'all wondering how that nigga got his leg like that. And the true story is I hit him with that.
Hell nah. Ain't no saying basketball day and night. The people who saw my stories know what's up, man. So, for the ones who don't, I'll give you a quick synopsis. Man, this is from all I'm going to say is this is from an LA trip that just happened last weekend, and I crashed out, bro. Shout out Big Two. Hey, but nah, we're gonna have a nice discussion today. So like the topic for today, man, going into episode 19, bro, we're gonna have a conversation around black men and black women, and we're gonna talk about basically are we our sisters keepers is what it's titled, right? And this discussion is gonna talk about why black women feel like black men don't protect them, and if we really feel that that's true or not, right? And I guess I'll go in, big bro, and talk about where this idea came from. So I was on Clubhouse about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, and it was this room, and they was just chopping it up. It was a bunch of black women in there, and they invited some black men, and they was just voicing their opinions about how in today's society, the men don't ride for them like they would back in the day, right? And like show up for them and like how they don't feel protected, they don't feel respected, and how like how they feel like that they got to compete with us because it was interesting. Like one chick said that she feels like she has to compete with men because there's a lack of respect for women, right? And she was just going on and on, just talking about how like men are naturally providers and protectors and things like that. You know, the whole spiel that you always hear, right? But she was like, women have been forced to jump into that role because of the situation that men put them in, so to speak. And it was a great dialogue because right after that, it had some guys that spoke up, and they started talking about society and how it's set up for black men to fail, like how mass incarceration is real and how making sure that women don't keep a father in the household is a real thing, right? So while the dudes who were in the room understood where the women were coming from, they was also trying to paint the picture that like it's not always black men not caring about black women. Some of that is true, and we're gonna dissect that in the show. However, they talked about how there's a whole system set up to where it's designed for us to be at each other's heads like that, to keep us back. So I wanted to dive into that and just kind of talk through it and whatnot. So I get my first question. I wanted to just get your thoughts on the initial before you go into your question that you had. Like, just get how do you feel about that? Just that one statement, like black women wanting us to be their keepers and their protectors. Do you feel like as a men as a whole, like all of us black men, do you feel like we do enough? You know, like do you feel like we don't protect our sisters?
Nah, I think we do. If I'm talking about it from my personal experience, it just depends on the man, I guess. Right. I know, let's say I'm out with a chick, and let's say a white guy would say something racist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bust his ass. I'd always protect like black women if I'm around. Right. Even if it's a stranger. Let's say I'm somewhere and I see a black lady walking and maybe a white woman and a white man say something racist to her. I'm gonna go off on his ass. Right. Because I always feel like, I'm gonna protect my sisters.
Let me ask you this though. Let's say if it's coming from our own though. Let's say if you just out and about and you see a black woman getting physically abused by a black man. Yeah. How would you approach that situation?
I'm gonna walk up to her.
And just and Are you automatically like gonna fight him, or is it a conversation?
Nah, it's gonna be a conversation, but
Me too.
but it's gonna be a conversation to, like, nigga, if you in the wrong, it can go to something else.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I feel what you're saying, because that's exactly how I would approach it. It's like, if I saw something like that, in anything, like, and I feel the same way. Like, I mean, I stand up for black women a lot. You know, shit, watching my mom raise 5 of us dolo is enough, and then go through her situations with her boyfriends. Yeah. Like, personal experiences, yeah, I feel like I protect black women. But then, like, when I sit back and just thought deeper, I was like, yeah, I can see how women can feel like they out here alone sometimes. But where my head started to go is like, just think about this. Just think about how this structure set up, right? There's black women that are having these black kids, right? Raising these black boys, right? And whether the father's in the house or not, right? It's about what we're teaching them little boys growing up. Because, you know, I granted the father should be around. If he's around, great. But if he's not, then what's the message? Are we raising him to be soft, and are we baby? Because what I see a lot of times is like women in general, they baby their little boys and pamper them and and call them kings and and tell them don't let women do this to them and all this other stuff. Yeah. But I don't know how many times they're teaching those same black boys to be protectors to those girls, right? And then on the other side, when they're raising their little girls, it's like you don't need no man for nothing. Yeah. Make sure you work. Make sure you go out there and do your thing. So I think it starts at an early age to where we're just training babies to grow up as adults and to be at each other's neck, because it's like it's two different messages.
Yeah. But man, like in what example you think, where do black women see that we don't protect them? Like besides the whole like father figure thing.
Yeah. So if I had to put fingers on it, I would say like if you think about corporate America, right? Like black women are always thought of last in corporate America. When you think about relationships, that something we talk about a lot on this show, like you hear all the stories about the cheating and the infidelity and how like don't matter how good a dude may seem, there's always some sucker shit that he's doing behind the scenes, right? So I think that it stems from personal experiences that they go through, right? And you can date that back to the 50s and 60s when men were the breadwinners in the house and ladies wasn't really working, right? What happened? A man was like, I'm bringing home the bread, and it was a lot of controlling situations, right? So it was like, since I make the money, I make the rules. So she had to cook, she had to clean, she had to raise the kids, but she wasn't really able to do a lot of the stuff without her husband's approval back then. Women didn't have rights to votes and all this other stuff, right? That's back then. Now fast forward to 2021, how I paint that picture is like women now have all those things, right? And because they have those things, I honestly feel like us as men, not necessarily you and I, but as far as a whole, us as men, we get intimidated by it. And that intimidation then turns into a competition. And in the middle of competition, what happens, right? You're going to go back and forth. Since you got it, go ahead then. And so like, you a boss lady, you don't need me. Boom. So I think that's where they feel like the protect, because it's like, dang, we go through all this shit and y'all not really standing up for us. But when the shoe is on the other foot, women feel like that they ride for us.
Yeah. The only thing, I got a question, like the whole infidelity thing, they was doing infidelity back then.
For sure.
It just wasn't easy for them to get caught.
For sure.
Like, see, now you got social media.
Bruh.
If they didn't have social media, it'd be the same thing.
Be the same. Because how many from our small town, how many old heads, like our daddy age that we know had families that was hidden?
Yeah.
It's like, hold on. Y'all niggas got the same daddy? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, so like, yeah, like, dude was able to have a kid and a family in one city and move on and do it in another city and keep it cool, because like you got pay phones and house phones and you ain't got no social media like you said, so it's kind of easier to get away with. However, I also think that women stuck around more because of the lack of resources they would have if they left. Now it's like it's almost like, I don't want to say this, but it's like, I feel like there's some truth to it. It's like now that women have elevated themselves and men are still doing the same shit, it's like when women leave now, we still looking at the situation like, how you gonna leave me? Yeah. Like, nigga, what you thought was gonna happen? Yeah. Like, back then it worked because they ain't have nowhere else to turn. The only alternative was to go back to their parents, probably, to their father or whatever. Yeah. Now it's like, I'm gonna go out here and get this bread, I'm gonna go out here and get this money, I'm gonna go ahead and boss up, and I'm gonna show you how to live, like a queen. Yeah. And I really do think that some dudes take offense to that, as if it's like they doing something wrong. Yeah. So I think that's part of it, in my opinion. But it's an interesting conversation to have, because I think, though, I really do think that what we see and what social media feed us is not the majority. However, negativity is always gonna rise to the top. Yeah. So it seems like that's the majority. But I don't think that the majority of us are just shitting on our black women.
No. Yeah. Do you think we as black men do enough when it comes to holding each other accountable when we know we're not doing right by women?
See, that's a tough thing for me to just think through. Cause listen to what you said. Listen to remember earlier in the conversation just now when I was asking you, if you saw a black man mistreating his black woman, right? Physically, right? You were like, I step in and talk to him. Cool, right? Let's say that that's your friend and it's not necessarily an abuse situation, right? Let's say your homeboy, you know him and he cheating on his gal that's super good to him, super dope to him, right? He could be cheating on her. We might just be like, hey, homie, you got a good one, you wildin', right? So as a man, I feel responsible to say that to you once. However, I also know as a man, you're gonna do what the fuck you wanna do, right? So for me, it's like, it's almost, I ain't gonna say impossible. It's impossible to hold a man accountable when he got his mind made up. I'll say that. Like, a nigga gonna do what he wanna do. If he gonna cheat, if he gonna hit his woman, that's gonna be him regardless. However, I'ma always at least give you game. I tell you when I don't agree with something, but as a man, I gotta also let you be you as a man. You see what I'm saying? So like, to answer your question directly, I do think we can do more as holding each other accountable, because I know dudes who like big up that shit, right? And so I do think that like we can do more as it, but I also know some great dudes that'll check their homeboys when they fucking up. So I think we hold each other accountable.
I don't think we hold each other accountable enough, because I don't, like, back when I was in my whole phase, back when I was younger, it was rare I had anybody tell me, hey, Jeremy.
That's because you wasn't hanging with me yet.
You right. It was rare for somebody to say, Jeremy, you fucking up.
They applaud the shit, right?
Yeah, they applaud the shit. Like, Jeremy, you got all the women.
Yeah, get you another one type of thing. And so let me ask you something. Whenever you was fucking up like that, and there was no accountability coming from your friends, like, was there ever a self-check with you?
Yeah,
like,
it was. Yeah.
Like, you looked at it like, damn, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
So, but see, when that happens, what we asking women to do is wait now. Because it's like, damn, now you got to wait for this nigga to grow up. Yeah. Right? So that's when I think it's like, it's a touchy situation, because it's like, when I think about holding a man accountable, I think about giving him game and letting him know which path he probably should take. However, I'm a super big advocate for letting life experiences teach you, because I think that's the best teacher, right? So, like, I'm gonna tell you what it is. However, after I give you the game and I didn't cleanse I don't feel guilty no more. I didn't got that off my back. I let you rock, because I truly believe they're gonna do what they want to do, man. Yeah. So it's a tricky conversation for me, and it's a tough one, because like, you can only advise a nigga to do so much before they just be like, oh, nigga, you preaching. Yeah. You know how they be.
Nigga, you don't tell me more than once.
right. And then what happens is they start getting offended, and then the friendship becomes rocky on your end over some shit where you really I start looking at her like, bro, I don't even know your chick that much to damage what we got. So like, if you gonna be like that, cool. Just don't bring it around me. You know what I'm saying? Or like if I got a girl, don't start talking about your shit that you do while I got a chick because, you know, birds of a feather flock together. And that's the other thing that I hate is like women, case in point, my ex, nigga, you know that. Boy, she'd already knew about your background.
She knew I was a good dude.
Oh, nah, shit.
She like, Jeremy is not the best one out of all y'all.
Nah, I told you what my ex said. My ex met all my homeboys, and she specifically pointed out Smooth. She was like, I don't know how I feel about you hanging with him. And I'm like, damn. So like women know, like they pay attention to how friends move and they hear stories and shit. And, you know, it'd be like, they gonna tell you. And I think that we need to do the same thing on our end, bro. And that's how I stand with it. But in terms of the accountability, yeah, we hold each other accountable, but I'd agree with you. We probably can do a little bit more. But my question back to you is how? Like how, other than what I just stated, so my example is I'm gonna tell you one time and then I'm gonna let you rock because I didn't give you the game and the monkey off me. But how else are we supposed to, am I supposed to go fist the cuffs with my partner because he's messing up? Like how else do we?
The only way I can see else is just, like let's say you got a girl. Just treat your girl with respect and how she's supposed to be treated. Maybe he'd look at it and start doing the same. That's about the only.
You know what's so dope? And I want to tell you something. I got an old head. I'm not even gonna mention his name on the show because there's people that's connected who will know him. But like he give me and some of the partners back home some game all the time. He like I'm close to my daddy's age, right? And like so he's not a dude who condones the infidelities, right? But he got a philosophy. He was like, listen, I understand that like not all men are built to be in a monogamous situations and be faithful. Like I get it. He was like certain people are wired different. People gonna do what they want, whether it's behind closed doors or out in the open, they're gonna do it. But he was like, if there's any piece of game that I can give y'all, as he was like, I don't care what you doing in the streets, don't never let it come back to your front door. Basically saying that like look, homie, I ain't trying to condone your cheating. I ain't trying to tell you should cheat. However, I do understand you as a man are gonna have certain desires to the opposite sex. My advice to you is if you ever come across that and you contemplating, before you make that decision, make sure that it ain't coming back to your chick, right? So that way is at least she don't even know about it for it to even be a problem. And that's some of the realest shit you can try and tell her.
Not to interrupt you, but I had a chick tell me once that I dated.
Same thing?
She was like, if you ever cheat, just don't let me find out.
Dang.
Yeah.
So do you think that's fair that she has to make that statement though? Because it's almost like when I heard you say that just now, it was like, dude, I ain't trying to lose you. And I know chicks gonna find you attractive. I'm assuming this is what's going through her head. So if you ever gotta act on that, man, don't let it come back to me. Do you think that's cool that she even gotta put that disclaimer out there though?
Nah.
That's what I'm saying. Cause
I was young as hell at the time.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. You know, that's definitely a past life. But it's like, when I think about those situations, it'd be like, bro, it's almost impossible to get a whole race of men, black men, to conform to.
Could you see yourself telling a chick that?
If you gonna cheat,
don't let me find. Hell nah. I'm leaving you.
Trying to look at me. I'm not pulling up to no chick and say, hey, man, if you cheat on me, just don't let me find out. What? I don't even want to think like that. I'd be mad as hell even thinking to myself. Cause for me, if I tell you that, it's almost like I'm expecting you to do it and to do your thing, and that shit, I just can't. You know how we territorial as men. We ain't trying to have no other dude inside of our shit, bro. Yeah. How
much of the bullshit that we put women through do you think is rooted in us as men not being ready for the one we are involved with?
Not being ready?
Yeah.
Like putting women through bullshit. I'm assuming we're not talking about just cheating, but like cheating, abuse, all that, right? I think it's major, honestly. Cause if I'm being real with you right now, bro, it's like right now is when I know I'm ready for somebody.
Yeah.
And you know, in my 30s, right? In the past, I was getting into relationships just, you know, couple on was a cool thing to do. You know, I'm lonely, I got some chicks around, you know what I'm saying? Things like that. So like, I think it's heavily rooted in us not being ready, if I'm being honest, because it's like, women know way before we know, right? And now, me knowing what I know now, it's because I do it all the time, it's a lot easier for me to be like, yo, I understand that you there. I understand that you know what I'm saying, you ready for the relationship, you ready for the kids, you ready to settle down, you ready to build, right? But I'm not there yet, right? I think that statement stops the relationship from moving forward, and it allows us to go do whatever bullshit we gonna do and not hurt that person. Now, the flip side to that though is you can miss out on a dope ass woman, and that's where the fear comes in at. I think women not finna wait on us no 10 years.
Oh no.
No 8 years, no 6 years, right?
Maybe back in the day, no.
They not waiting right now though, right? So it's like, while they'll respect you saying I'm not ready, but they also not finna stick around and be like, all right, cool, I tried to go there with you, you ain't ready, boom, I'm off here and I'm going to the next. So I think, like I said, I think it's heavily rooted in us not being ready for them, but then I also think that while we not ready for them, we also gotta be honest with them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's my 2 cents on that one. And then like, there's another layer to that. Like when you think about our community specifically, so I'm gonna talk specifically to the black community with this. Like when you think about like racial injustice, you know, with the black people, you know, you talk about black people in corporate America being mistreated, overall protection of black culture. You know, so why do you think it's so hard for men to match energies though? And what I mean by that is like, why does it seem like women go harder for us than we do for them? Do you think it's just because like, you know, that's what they supposed to do? Like y'all the nurturers, do you think it's rooted in that mama-son relationship, or you think it's something different?
I don't understand, like, you can't really say they go harder for us, but like what women go through is not really televised like men. Like women don't really, like, let's say like with the George Floyd situation. Like women don't really have, like, when the last time a woman got killed, like.
I see what you're saying. Women don't have that fear.
Yeah.
Of, like, they not facing them. So you're saying they not facing them same situations.
Yeah.
So it's easier for them to voice their opinion with stuff like that.
Because I promise you, if a police officer would do a black woman
the way they did
like
a black
that,
man,
I would be heated. Like,
I
promise you, I'd be more heated.
I also think that the world as a whole would be more heated, because but it's that masculinity versus femininity balance that you have, right? When you think about the most masculine human beings on this planet, who they are, the black men, right? That's the whole thing that's why the race thing exists now, right? Like they were so scared of us that they wouldn't let us read, they wouldn't let us have the jobs that they wouldn't let us get educated, because they was intimidated by us. So they was intimidated by the masculinity. We already jump higher, run faster, fuck better, whatever you want to talk about, right? We already do all that stuff. So the intimidation set there, right? But like if you put your knee on a black woman's neck, man, even white people finna lose their fucking mind, right? So it's like, I get what you're saying with that. It's like, but for me, like when I think about it, I'm gonna go back to what I just said. I do think that some of it takes part in the son-mother relationship, right? Because how many times have you heard a black woman say, I'm not trying to be your fucking mama, right? Because it's almost like a dude getting a relationship and he expects a female to treat him just like the mama would. And when I say what the mama would, it's like in terms of like, you know, bending her back, breaking her back basically for him on whatever. And no matter whatever bullshit you put your mama through, your mama ain't going nowhere. She gonna be mad as hell. She gonna scream. She probably gonna bitch you out. She might kick you out of the house. But eventually their relationships get mended most times, because you her son, you her baby, that's all she got, right? I think that some of that is we look at black women and we expect that same level of loyalty when like she don't love you like your mama. She ain't never gonna love you like your mama gonna love you. You know what I'm saying? And for us, I think that as men, we gotta get out of that cycle of trying to force women to be our moms and really understand the true meaning of companionship. Because when you understand companionship and you understand, how to be a partner with somebody, it's a lot harder to hurt that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I view it. But it is, and I also think it is a plight. It's a plight against black men and black women. But I also think the system is designed for us to stay at each other's necks. And I think it's up to us to change that system, ultimately. So,
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, and that was really, I just really wanted to, chop it up and have a conversation with you around that, because it's like that clubhouse room really, really, really opened my eyes, because it was like, there was valid points coming from both sides. Mm-hmm. And so I took a bunch of notes, some of them that I didn't even want to, that was non-related to the topic as a whole, but however, it was a dope conversation to have. And I just kind of wanted to address it, because I want black women myself to understand that, social media and society, in terms of social media and the media, when I say society, I'm talking about the media, the news, right? They're going to paint a picture of whatever they want you to see that fits the system. However, I'm going to challenge every woman out there, especially the black women, dig deeper, look beyond the surface and really ask yourself, are men really not riding for y'all? Or is that what they feeding y'all and making y'all be at our necks, and then in return, it requires us to be back at y'all necks? Because if I had to answer the topic's question as a whole while we wrap up, are we our sisters' keepers? I'm gonna say hell yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's my 2 cents. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But then that's really what I wanted to chop it up about. So I'll let you take it away with some bro talk, man.
Bro talk, fellas. I'm gonna just say, at the rate African American men are getting assaulted and killed by the police, make sure you only got one life, so make sure you give it your 120%, and you giving your wife, or you got goals, or whatever kind of relationship you're in, make sure you're giving your spouse the best version of you, because you only got one life.
That's it. That's it. And man, hey, and get you a goddamn piece, bro. This is coming.
Hey, you see that Texas law?
Yes. You saw it, right?
Yeah.
The one you can carry without the permit.
Yeah.
Bro, and I honestly believe that it's about to be some stupid motherfuckers all in Walmart and these grocery stores just guns out.
Yeah.
So that's why I just said that. I'm like, bro, get you a piece, and I'll tell you, I've never owned a gun outside of the guns that my pops had that we would hunt with when I was younger. I've never had a 45 or a pistol or anything, right?
Yeah.
I was nice from the shoulders. I'm straight.
Yeah.
Man, I learned quick, boy. A bullet will sit you down. I don't give a damn how big you is. So I guess if I had a bro talk, that's what it is, man. Get you a piece, dog.
Yeah.
But look, man, it was a dope conversation, man. And I know we normally talk about relationships, but I want to step away from that for at least a week to kind of get serious with y'all and kind of start a discussion around us coming together more than being at each other's necks. And we can continue that in the comments. We can continue it on our IG page, or we can do some live or whatever. But at least this is a starting point. Like I said, this is episode 19. I'm your host, KP. This is my dog, Smooth, and we're going to see y'all on the other side.
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
You with them steppers, huh? But you can't step with us. Niggas swear they certified.